The British media has entered yet another meltdown cycle, and this time the theatrics are so intense that you can practically hear the teacups shaking across the Atlantic. What set them off this week? Prince Harry dared to do something shockingly normal. He gave a paid speech in Toronto. That is it. That is the breaking news. A grown man worked. You would think he had announced a revolution with the way the tabloids reacted. Articles popped up faster than royal scandals, commentators started breathing into paper bags, and the national outrage machine was fired up as if Harry had personally unplugged the royal family's Wi-Fi. At the front of the stage is Richard Eden, a man who treats Harry having a career like it is a direct attack on the ancient order. Eden rushed to declare Harry's appearance at a real estate conference humiliating, embarrassing, shameful, and every dramatic adjective he could dust off. According to the palace insiders he loves to cite, Harry receiving payment for a speech is apparently an international crisis. These same insiders probably still believe that using your own car door is a sign of rebellion. So naturally they are triggered by anything that looks like independence. But here is the part that makes the whole thing hilarious. People get paid to speak all the time. Politicians do, CEOs do, athletes do, former presidents do. Even reality stars, who barely have a coherent storyline, do. Speaking engagements are a normal part of public life. But when Harry does it, suddenly the British media clutches pearls like they have been personally wronged. It is almost athletic, the way some of these commentators sprint to the press to express outrage. The comparisons started immediately. Eden tried to hold up one of William's environmental speeches as some kind of moral counterbalance to Harry's paid appearance. You might recall that speech, the one that was so electrifying that the media politely forgot it existed. I'm not saying William did not try. I'm saying that if you asked 10 people what he said, 9 of them would stare blankly, and the 10th would quietly change the subject. Even the trees he hoped to protect would have needed a snack break. Yet, somehow, Harry's polished and well-received talk in Toronto is the real problem. The frustration coming from the royalist corner has nothing to do with speeches. It is about the fact that Harry is thriving outside the palace system. They cannot handle the idea that the spare is not sitting silently in the background, waiting for instructions. They wanted Harry to remain dependent, grateful for scraps, forever orbiting his older brother like a satellite that never gets to shine on its own. The moment he stepped away and proved he could support himself, the narrative cracked. It is pure irony that the same commentators who claimed the Sussexes were costly are now angry that Harry does not rely on royal funds. They complained for years that he should stand on his own feet. He did precisely that, and suddenly it is unacceptable. They get upset when he works. They get upset when he succeeds. They get upset when he pays for his life with his own money. They simply get upset. That is their full-time job at this point. When you compare the accomplishments of both royal brothers, the media spin becomes even clearer. William's engagements are ceremonial. They are respectable and kind, but they are limited in scope. Opening a facility, touring a charity, cutting a ribbon, taking photos with school children. These moments matter locally but seldom ripple across continents. They reinforce tradition rather than push boundaries. Nothing wrong with that, but the media treats each action as if he solved climate change with a handshake. Harry's work looks very different. The Invictus Games impact the lives of veterans around the world. His mental health initiatives have reached millions. His documentary projects spark global conversations. His memoir broke records because people were actually interested in what he had to say. When you combine that with his philanthropic partnerships, you see someone who is building modern influence rather than inheriting ceremonial responsibility. Yet the media attempts to reduce his accomplishments to attention-seeking or opportunism. If William ties his shoelaces at an event, it is portrayed as noble. If Harry builds an international platform, it is treated as a threat. The old monarchy mantra is simple: protect the heir, diminish the spare. William must remain the polished front-facing symbol, and Harry must remain the quiet support. The moment Harry refused that role, the machine kicked into high gear. Every success he achieves becomes ammunition for criticism. If he signs a deal, it is greed. If he earns money, it is scandal. If he speaks publicly, the headlines hyperventilate about his fee. The goal is not fairness. The goal is containment. The irony is that the more they try to tear him down, the stronger his impact becomes. Every exaggerated headline draws more attention to his independence. Every insult highlights the fact that Harry is doing what the palace never expected. He built a life that does not require royal approval. He found purpose without permission. He created his own path. And the public cannot help but notice. This is the real reason the establishment reacts so dramatically. Harry represents something the palace never intended to show. He is proof that a royal can leave the system and still live a meaningful, successful, respected life. If the spare can thrive outside the palace, people start asking deeper questions. What is the point of strict hierarchy? Why are certain roles locked into place? Why is proximity to the throne treated like destiny? Harry exposes how optional that entire structure really is. That is why the outrage feels so exaggerated. They are not worried about a speech. They are worried about a precedent. Harry's independence raises uncomfortable possibilities. If one prince can do it, could others? If purpose can be built outside the palace, then maybe the palace is not the only path to service. That idea is dangerous for an institution built on strict tradition and inherited duty. Harry's happiness is a quiet critique of the old model. It shows that freedom is possible and fulfilling. It represents a direction the monarchy is not prepared to explore. So, while commentators like Eden continue to produce dramatic commentary about Harry earning a paycheck, the truth remains intact. Harry supports his family with dignity. He partners with organizations that change lives. He speaks about mental health in ways that resonate far beyond the UK. He helps veterans feel seen and valued. He speaks honestly about media accountability. He creates global projects with lasting reach. He has built a life that aligns with his values, and none of that requires a palace backdrop. Meanwhile, the royalists keep waiting for William to flourish in the role he was born into, but Harry is flourishing in the role he chose. That is the real story. Not the speech, not the fee, not the hysteria. The story is that Harry stepped into his own identity and succeeded. If the media truly wanted calm, they would stop panicking whenever he works. But their panic only proves how disruptive his independence is to the old system. They cannot hide what is obvious. Harry is thriving. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel because more conversations like this are coming. Leave a comment with your thoughts because I want to hear your take on this royal roller coaster. And if you want to support the work that goes into creating these videos, you can help the channel grow through super thanks or by buying me a coffee. Every bit of support helps keep these deep dives going strong. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.